Sefer Shmuel Aleph, Perek Bet, video number 3, Psukim Yud Aleph through Yud Zayin, the sins of the sons of Eli. Pasuk Yud Aleph. Vayelech Elkanah haramata al beito. Elkanah went to Ramah, back to his home. He lived in Ramah. So there he goes, home, taking his family. Vehana'ar, but the young man, meaning little Shmuel, Haya misharet et Hashem. He served God, doing whatever someone of his age could do. Et Penei Eli HaKohen, before the head Kohen, Eli HaKohen. So he had a mentor, and he was doing what he could do, was already starting his career in Avodat Hashem, in the Mishkan in Shiloh. Pasuk Yud Bet. However, sinister music in the background, Darth Vader theme. Uvenei Eli v'bnei Belial, but the sons of Eli were bnei Belial. Belial means Beli Ol, without being able to accept authority. They did not like having somebody as a boss over them, and they were not the same quality by far as their father. And it says about them, Lo yad'u et Hashem. They did not know God. Of course, they knew who God was, but it's as it says concerning Paro in the beginning of Shemot, Asher lo yada et Yosef. Didn't know means didn't want to know. And Paro later says, Lo yadati et Hashem. So they might have said something cool like, Hashem who? Or maybe they would have said, maybe if you hum a few bars. But we have a sense that something is impending. Pasuk Yud Gimel. Umishpat ha-kohanim et ha'am. The mode of behavior that the Kohanim adopted towards the people, here is what they would do in those days. Kol ish zoveach zevach. If a person would come, anyone would come to offer an animal sacrifice. A zevach is an animal sacrifice. A mincha is a sacrifice of flour, spice, and oil. And a nesach is a liquid sacrifice. So if somebody came with an animal sacrifice, uva na'ar ha-kohen, so then the assistant to the Kohen, somebody who would come, a helper for the Kohen would come. Here is the na'ar, somewhat of a bouncer type. He would come kivashel habasar, as the meat was being cooked. He would come at that point in the process. And what would he bring? Vehamazleg shlosh hashinayim biyado, and he would be carrying in his hand what looked like a huge fork, maybe a pitchfork, a 3-pronged big fork. Now, what did he want to do with that fork is the question. Pasuk Yudalid. Vehika vakiyur ovadud ovakalachat ovaparur. These are words for different types of pots, pans, vessels that would hold the meat for cooking and preparation purposes, a kiyor, a dud, a kalachat, a parur. He would stick his fork in there. Kol asher ya'aleh hamazleg, anything that would come up on the edge of that big fork, yikach ha-kohen bo, the kohen would take the meat. It doesn't matter that it wasn't supposed to be his portion. The Kohen was supposed to get specific parts of a korban, certain korbanot shlamim. They would get the chazeh and the shok, part of the chest, part of the thigh, but they weren't supposed to get just anything. They wanted anything that came up on the fork. Kacha ya'asu l'chol Yisrael. But this became the policy. That's what they would do to all the Jews. Not just once in a while when you got one of these assistants who was out of hand. This was the policy for all the Jews, haba'im sham b'Shiloh, who came there to the city of Shiloh. The Kohen would take whatever he wanted indiscriminately. Pasuk Tetvav. Gam b'terem yaktiruna tachelav. They would also come before b'terem, when as of yet they had not yet sacrificed, burnt the chelav. That was the part of the fat that was burnt on the mizbeach to Hashem. And only then could you eat anything else. That had to go first. But the Kohen would send his assistant before that was done, before the chelav was burnt. Uva na'ar ha-kohen, the assistant to the Kohen would come. Ve'amar la'ish hazovech, and he would say to the person who was bringing the korban, T'avasar litzlot la-kohen, give meat for the Kohen to broil. He wanted to get that meat on his fork. Why? Because he wanted to broil, he wanted a barbecue. The Kohen won't take any cooked meat from you. He doesn't want that sappy stuff. He wants it raw so that he can barbecue it and have himself a nice feast. And this, of course, was against halacha. And yet the Kohen would do it nonetheless. Pasuk Tet Zayin, Vayomer elav ha'ish. And the innocent fellow who was bringing the korban would say very reasonably, and here are his words, Kater yaktirun kayom hachelev. They're just going to sacrifice the chelev. Let them wait just until they sacrifice the chelev. Do number one, here's the chelev. Let the chelev be put on the mizbeach and burnt. V'kach lecha ka'asher te'aveh nafshecha. And then step two, you can take whatever you want with your fork. Ka'asher te'aveh nafshecha, as your soul desires. V'yamar lo. It's written with a vav, but it was meant, he was saying, lo, no, I will not wait. Rather, ki here means rather. Ata tite, now is when you will give it to me. I'll take now. Ve'im lo, and if you don't give it to me now, lakachti v'chazka, I will take it by force. You will meet my fist, and you will give my fist whatever it wants. So this is what was going on a regular basis in the Mishkan. Pasuk Yud Zayin, Vatihi chatat hane'arim gidola ma'odet pnei Hashem. The sin of these assistants, which was officially allowed by the sons of Eli, Chofni and Pinchas, was tremendously large before God. And that's the language that reminds us of Sodom, and that it came before God. The cries and everything, the evil went up before God. Ki li'atzu ha'anashim et minchat Hashem, because these people had despised and made fun of and demeaned the offering of God, the Mizbeach. It's as if they took the Mizbeach and overturned it. And we know that nothing good will happen from an attitude like that. Stay tuned.